Hello, I'm here with Senator Bill Stanley, who represents the 7th Senatorial District. Great to have you with us, Senator.
Great to be here. They just told me this is Talks with Terry, and I heard it was Tacos with Terry, and I was expecting tacos. It's Tuesday. I figured, what the heck, and no tacos, but I'm here to talk to you.
Well, we got a lot more important things to talk about than tacos, even though tacos are important.
Yes.
We want to talk about redistricting. What's going on?
Well, right now, I mean, as you know, Terry, we filed a lawsuit in Tazewell. We got an injunction. I was one of the plaintiffs along with Senator Ron McDougal. That was taken up on appeal. The Supreme Court took the case and basically said, we're going to let the election happen. So then we had our congressmen and the RSLC. They sued. They got an injunction out of the same courthouse. And the Supreme Court has now said, well, we're going to have an election. But then we're going to determine whether it's a valid election or not after the election occurs, which is kind of strange, but there's a 1912 court case that basically started that precedent in Virginia that the courts don't interfere with the happening of an election, but they will determine its efficacy later on. So they did mention in that order, and I know you read it, which was that this matter was of grave concern to the court, which usually for lawyers like us means it's a very serious issue. They're going to take it seriously, and they have some real concerns about whether it's lawful and constitutional or not. So we've got that in the court system. Right now, early voting has started. And
so what's our message to our voters? And, you know, in rural Virginia, Bill, we represent a lot of folks who could be deluded as the Fairfax web comes out across the state.
Well, as you saw, these maps that they've drawn for themselves. They've drawn for them, the politicians, to pick who's going to represent them in Congress, not to let the people. And on top of that, Fairfax County and Northern Virginia have infiltrated 4 of the congressional districts that they haven't been a part of now. They're diluting the rural voter. It is so important. If there's any election that you need to get off the couch, and you can do it from now until April 21st, this is it. You've got to get off your couch, go down to your registrar, and vote no, because these maps 10-1 are not fair. It dilutes the representation of Virginia. Just think about it this way. Trump got what, 46% of the national vote, about the same for Winsome Sears. So we have right now congressional maps that have 6 Democrat, 5 Republican.
Right.
We're represented fairly and in proportion to what the vote is right now. And in Virginia, that goes back and forth in terms of some years we vote Republican, some years we vote Democrat. We're definitely purple. But to make it a 10-1, it's 92% Democrat representation in Congress, does not reflect Virginia. And if you want not to be dictated to, but to be allowed to live your life in the way that you plan and you intend, and living in your faith without interference from government, then you have to get off that couch. You have to go vote until April 21st.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us today. And the word that we want to say to you out there is vote no.
Vote no.